Good morning, Gab fam. We are on episode 11 today. Is this work for the fingers?
What up?
We're on episode 11 today, and today was particularly interesting. I just sort of woke up into Bitcoin Twitter talking about some Kanye West on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he has a couple quotes about Bitcoin and technology. And the big one for me that I just heard is Kanye basically said Bitcoiners are the people who know how the true liberation of humanity, the planet, and America are going to happen. And then, he went on a bit of a rant about decentralization and how, Twitter and social media is decentralized and then some other stuff. But focusing on the fact that he called out Bitcoin and he said crypto people and Bitcoiners know where this is going is super important, man. What do you think about that?
Totally. I mean, yeah, it gives me chills. Like hear him say that, like in that order. And the main takeaway from anyone watching, Kanye and Joe, or just kind of trying to tackle Bitcoin, and crypto for the first time is just explaining that, like it's so much bigger than just money, and so much bigger than just an investment, and it's not just another stock. It's not just another way to make more dollars. It's not like only for rich people. It's not like just throw out all of that. Throw out all of that. Bitcoin is about freedom, period. And Bitcoin is about decentralization of power, period. And then when you hear these things like be your own bank, like fully own your own money, like audit the entire supply, like separate politicians from the money printing, like all of that stuff. Let your brain run wild on like what that actually means, because we're all trying to tackle that right now and what it means. And that's why you'll hear Bitcoin people and say like Bitcoin fixes this, like Bitcoin is the solution. Like Bitcoin is the tip of the spear right now for the final stand of private property rights, for the final stand of free speech, for the final stand of just like, look, we are free humans. We can control our time and our labor and our wealth. They, as in like just the ruling class, like the rulers, the decision makers, and people with power in this world, do not own us. They do not get to decide what our brain thinks about every day and where we are going to contribute our energy. And in the same way that just the internet has made it so fast for just information to fly around and for anybody to be who they want to be and to contribute to the world in a negative or a positive way, whichever direction they want to like influence the world, Bitcoin is the money protocol of the internet. Bitcoin is the free market, free speech money of the entire world. And it is undercutting, it is a direct affront to tyrants, tyranny. So I would just definitely encourage everybody to participate in it and throw away kind of the preconceptions that you have about it and participate.
Yeah, it's super liberating because it is made in a way that every single person with a connection to the internet can use Bitcoin and use the power of money at the base root of what money is. Like
every single person, Android, iPhone, Windows, Linux, like on a cell phone in Africa, on a super gaming computer in Nevada, like everywhere, cell phone in Africa to the nicest computer you can have in the West. It's possible. And then just, I don't want to hear all this stuff of like, oh, what if the internet goes down? What if the power goes? Look, radio waves, satellites, like every single, Bitcoin's been around for 11 years now. You like can have your mind climb over it, you will not find a chink in the armor. And if you do, then contribute to patching it, because that's the exact point. And so think about it. But all these kind of top level things like, oh, what if the internet goes out? Like rest assured, like there are very smart people like working on that, and they're like having redundancy, having radio waves, having like you can carry it on a USB drive and you can hand it to somebody else. Like there's so many. They're just the most intelligent, prepper-minded, like sovereign individuals in the entire world are working on this right now. And so rest assured, you're joining a network of people that are as competitively about freedom as you are.
Yeah, let's segue into a few of those things because I know we do get questions like that a lot. Like, what happens if the internet goes down? Like, so if the internet goes
Right.
down, I'm still running a node, and if I can connect to one other person still running a node, then we have kept Bitcoin running. And there is, like he was saying, satellites. You can buy a $300 satellite kit that can connect your node to a node in space. So right there, you've got a global use case that keeps Bitcoin alive, keeps your node synced, and keeps you able to broadcast transactions for like $300 for the satellite kit, $300 for maybe a Raspberry Pi
And then the middle,
and a hard drive.
yeah, and then the middle ground is like, and then there's all a bunch of work being done on mesh networks, which is like we're just going to run our own internet then. We're
Yeah,
not going to be reliant on the ISP providers.
100%. And that's happening in New York. There's already mesh networks that have been very successful in New York City, which is amazing because they're just doing it to bypass ISPs. But then you get Locamesh. Locamesh is a company that specifically runs your Bitcoin node through peer-to-peer mesh networking, which is awesome, and messaging as well because this stuff's important. This stuff's really important. So there's adversarial minds thinking of ways to you know, basically keep this shit running. Whereas your bank, your local gas station, that Verifone goes out because the internet's down. Like you're not getting a transaction through. You're not getting a
Totally.
transaction through.
You've watched the people fly their signs that say cash only for the afternoon because their Verifone went down. Right.
Yeah.
And they don't there's no backup. There's no redundancy at the places, which is why so like a lot of my day-to-day right now is spent like talking to small businesses and medium-sized businesses about creating redundancies for their businesses.
Yeah.
You if you're an entrepreneur in this country, or if you're an entrepreneur anywhere in the world, you need to be thinking about redundancies. And you need to be tapping into larger like networks that are less dependent on centralized control because like today like who like the mayor of LA is saying people that have parties at their house or have people over at their house, he's going to shut off their water and power. Like, we're just going to still be dealing with coronavirus stuff in 2021. So just summer of 2021. Hey, like 2 more weeks to flatten the curve. Like every gas station that's still open, we're going to turn off your Verifone. We're going to turn off your Verifone until you stop working. We're turning off your Verifone. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's going to happen.
The government,
you need redundancies.
The government's taking total control, and this is exactly what Kanye is talking about with the true liberation of America and the true liberation of humans. Is the more decentralized you get shit, the harder it is to take down. Like, and he even mentions, he's mentioning Bitcoin and he's mentioning Tesla also, and he only said it for a split second, but he said like Tesla, and then he's like, I'm riffing too much, but you can kind of follow along here. But what he's talking about is the decentralization of everything, because when you get energy decentralized, so Tesla's dream is sustainable energy everywhere, but I have solar panels from them. What energy generation and storage of your basically storage of your energy makes your utility also like they can't centralize your and shut off your power like they're talking about in California. So you have decentralized power, you want to have decentralized money, you want to have decentralized connection, and all those three things, you're fucking unstoppable. And this is what like high level these government fucks that want to take you down, like they fear the individual getting decentralized, but they don't know it. They don't know it's happening yet. It's happening right now. They're talking about they're still talking about Uber and Lyft, this debate about employees versus contractors. Meanwhile, Tesla's making every single one of their customers' cars into a robo-taxi that doesn't even need an employee in it. So like you can, as a Tesla owner, I have, this full self-driving Tesla, and they're coming out with this software update until it's good enough to be like 100% safe. And when you're talking about that, you're talking about in the future, I will be able to press a button on my phone and my car goes and picks people up for me and then makes me money and then drives back home before I get back from work, or comes and picks me up from work. So
totally,
my car is working while I sleep. My car is working while I'm at work. And basically things like Uber and Lyft that everybody's debating about in California aren't gonna fucking matter because it's gonna be way cheaper to take a robotaxi. You're gonna want that luxury experience. You might even be able to drive it yourself, depending on what they choose to do with it. Because the robotaxi shows up and then you drive it yourself to your destination, and then maybe you let it go drive it somewhere else afterwards.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but these are
And
all forces for decentralization. Go ahead.
Uber, yeah, and Uber was still a force for decentralization. You watch how they broke the tyranny of the taxi cab unions. Like
Yes.
they broke that, and like how corrupt that system was between who gets a medallion and who doesn't get a medallion, and they democratized the ability to work and give people rides. And so on the customer side and on the worker side, it made a ton of progress. And yeah, this is just the next wave of it. And then what is it? The government's been trying to play catch up on Uber the whole time, and the government's been trying to play catch up on Airbnb
Yes.
the whole time, and all these things, all Airbnb, like it just decentralized the power. Then now you can stay anywhere. You can stay anywhere and you can do business with anybody. And now the government's been trying to catch up and kind of nip it in the bud and be like, to do some like
Hey,
tourism taxes. And
you guys need
hey,
bureaucracy
right,
in your business models. Like
right, right,
you don't have enough compliance, and it's like,
right.
okay, well, the next wave of shit is going to be when Airbnb and Uber and Lyft aren't usable because of government bureaucracy. There's going to be some fucking Bitcoin startup that is like, fuck running a business. Like, we'll just have this shit automated, go straight to your fucking
Totally. And then
your
so
thing
what you're
that's
going
gonna
to
be
do is you're
peer to
just going
peer
to run.
anonymous. Like,
Exactly. So when you run the software at your house, because the problem, the reason why all these things can be shut down is because the Uber app is a point of
failure.
control. But they're able to make Uber take down the server. They're able to make Uber say, hey, if you don't take this down in certain states, or if you don't like whatever XYZ, like we're gonna fine you. The next wave is like it's not even going to be companies. There's people out there that they're not even companies. They're just writing software. They're writing software that automatically connects the buyer and the seller to do things, and then the money is like split off.
Yeah,
That's what's happening.
It'll be like this. There's Tesla Robotaxi network. It will exist, and then those Tesla Robotaxis are on the road, and all of a sudden you're gonna put fucking Bitcoin in a wallet and hit some escrow, or put it in as escrow, and then when the car arrives to you and takes you to your destination, the escrow can automatically fucking leave. These are concepts that just remove any point of failure in the business side of it, because you're like,
Mhm.
it's all
And it
automated.
forces the government's hand, because it's like, okay, you want to shut this down? You're going to have to 100% violate private property rights then. Like right now, we kind of all come down to this thing of like, well, it's a private business. They can do what they want. Like they can just choose to comply or choose like whatever. Like, no, like this computer running inside my house, you're going to have to choose to kick down my door and come seize this computer.
Yep.
And if you choose to do that in the United States of America, then we have a ton of problems. Like you're number one, you'll be met with force. You'll be met with force because that's the way it works in the United States of America. And number two, it just that like then the whole idea of freedom is dead as soon as you do that.
Yeah.
And that there's just going to be chaos, and it's going to be your decision, ruling class, to cause that chaos. You can back off at any point, and we're going to force your hand because we can do this inside our own house.
And even then, once you've committed that atrocious crime to enter my home and try to shut me down, you still can't fucking confiscate my Bitcoin unless I give you the seed words. So this is the type of power we're talking about. State level power in the individual's hand. And you can call their fucking bluff and memorize your seed words, and you're going to sit in jail maybe for a couple years and come out the same billionaire you were before because you memorized your words. And this is the type of power we're talking about against.
And you know how a few episodes ago we talked about Bitcoin's like fungus and just continues to grow, continues to find a way, continues to find the most efficient path. Sweet. Kick down the doors of 10, 20, 100, 200, 2,000, 2 million people. You're not going to kill the Bitcoin network. You're not going to kill the ideas on the internet because there's freedom. You can't kill freedom. And it's just going to continue. It's going to continue and continue and continue. The mesh networks, the free internet are going to continue to grow. The Bitcoin network or the free money is going to continue to grow. And it doesn't matter how many doors you kick down. You can't kill the network.
You can't. It's going to keep working. And you'll be able to take your, once you get out of jail for whatever fake bullshit they put up on you, you can take your 12 words and cross a border and get the hell out of there, and nobody can stop you. Like nobody can confiscate your $10,000 gold bar. No, it's in your head.
And want to know how we don't get to the door kicking down? You, Gab fam, get involved. Get involved with Bitcoin. And that's all we're trying to do today is paint like just this giant picture of the future is optimistic and the future is possible as soon as you stop relying on centralized entities. And we talked about yesterday, like, where are the heroes? You are the hero. Like, you watching this is the hero. You enter these decentralized fights and join in the same way you had enough courage to make a Gab account and show up here every single day. It's that same kind of courage to download other programs and get involved with other decentralized software communities and join in and continue to force the hand of tyrants
and keep strength. It all strengthens Gab. It strengthens Bitcoin. These things, the more people that are using it. So just start thinking and start stacking some sats, buying some Bitcoin. All right, y'all.
Later, guys.